Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Melissa, and I'm here to lead you through yoga. We will practice together for 45 minutes today. As we go through class, just a reminder to listen to your body. If any of the stretches that we are working with don't work for your body, please skip them, come on out and modify. Things that you'll need for your practice today is it'll be great to have a mat to practice on. Also, I took out the blocks and the blanket. So if you would like to have those close by, you can definitely use those to support your body through the class. And as we go through our practice today, we will be working on the full body. So we'll just work on building a bit of strength, working with our flexibility, and taking time to relax the mind and to relax the body. So today, in Connecticut, we actually had a eclipse, which I was able to see, which was really cool. And I always love diving into the deeper meaning of things. So I was looking to see what the eclipse represents, and the eclipse always line up with the new moon. And it said that this is a really great time. This whole month that's coming up will be a great opportunity for a fresh start and a new beginning. So I always love that. And I thought, as we do intention setting in our class today, maybe you want to connect a little bit to that eclipse. Maybe there is an area of your life where you could use a fresh start, a new beginning, maybe pick up a new habit. Maybe there's a new way of being, maybe something that you can let go of that's just not serving you anymore. And you can kind of link that up with the energy of the eclipse. So as we get started today, I was thinking about starting down on our backs. We'll just get comfortable there. And if it feels comfortable for you, you can lay flat. But if that doesn't work for you, so typically legs are relaxed and arms are relaxed. But if that doesn't work for your back, feel free to bend your knees and plant your feet. You can just do a little active rest here. And we're going to do our centering here. So this can be an opportunity just to release the day so far, to drop into your body, drop into your breath, drop into the present moment. Softening the gaze or closing the eyes if that feels comfortable. And then just try to let the back of your body get really heavy. And just see if you can identify where you might be holding onto tension. And then trying to let that tension go. We will take an opportunity to become mindful, to become aware of our breath. Feel the breath flowing in and flowing out of your body. And then as best as you can, try to inhale and exhale through your nose. Maybe seeing if you can create a bit of length as you breathe in. And then find a bit of length as you breathe out. And then as we go through our class, carrying the connection to your breath with you through the practice. Feel free to set an intention if you'd like for your time on the mat today. And maybe that does connect to the eclipse and what the eclipse represents. New beginnings, fresh starts, maybe a new habit, a new way of being. Coming into a full body stretch, we'll take the hands up and overhead. Maybe point your toes or flex your feet. Allow for your body to be as active as possible here. Knees come to the chest. Draw the arms, the hands around the knees or the shins. And we'll do a gentle rock to the right, and then to the left. And we're going to start with a little bit of a practice to warm up our low backs. It'll be also really nice for the hips and for the legs. Let's start by taking our right knee into the chest and the stomach. Left leg either straightens along the mat. You could also bend the knee and plant the foot. That's an option. We are going to begin to find some circles with that right knee. Maybe find large circles here, maybe find smaller circles here. And then reverse. Just notice if there's spots that feel a little stuck, maybe try to smooth those out with the movement. Also working for that full range of movement. So a nice smooth circle. Take an opportunity to pause. Begin to draw the knee into your chest. Try to hug your elbows into your body. And see if you can get your shoulders to relax from your ears. We'll try the stretch, but just slightly different. This time we'll try to avoid the stomach and the rib cage. You might want to release one of those arms. And we're just going to try to pull down to the underarm on the right side. And it might just feel a little different stretch. So sometimes students will say it feels like a little pressure in the hip joint. So just stretching that hip a little differently. And we'll release. Take the sole of your right foot to the inside of your left leg. We'll set up for a reclining tree position. Feel free to press into the outside of your right foot, the heel of your left hip, just to lift the hips up to try to balance your hips and your low back. Hands come up overhead for a little shoulder stretch if you'd like. And if the arms are resting on the ground, that's great. If the arms are hanging up in the air, I would just keep the arms along the body because that might just put a little too much pressure on the arms to be hanging out there. So try to just soften the arms onto the ground as best as you can. And I love this variation of tree because we typically do this one balancing. And it's kind of nice to do this reclining so we don't have to fight the balance too hard. And we get to experience the benefits of the stretch. So really nice in our leg stretch, good for your hip and your low back on the right side. From here, we're going to release the arms. Right knee sweeps to the left for a spinal twist. We'll try that with one of the legs straight. So that left leg will stay straight. It might feel a little different than we do both of the legs in our twist, both knees bent for a twist. And then as best as you can, see if you can get that right shoulder to drop down to the mat. Sometimes scooching that left shoulder to the left a little bit more can just help you move a little deeper into that shoulder opening. We are going to take an opportunity to reset here. Come back onto our backs. Happy baby stretch to reset. Reach for your feet. Flex through your feet. Press through your heels. Gently rock to the right and to the left. And then we just want to press out through the heels here. Almost like you could imagine that you could stomp your foot right on up on the ceiling. Right leg relaxes down, either straight or bent. Left knee into your chest. And we are going to circle here. And then as you're flowing here, maybe notice if the stretch feels very similar on this side of your body to the first side of the body that we worked on. It might feel very different one side to the next, or it could also feel very similar one side to the next. We will reverse. We'll flow in the other direction. And then as you make your way back into center, let's take our knee. We're going to pull it into the chest for a moment. So this pose has been said to be great for giving the internal organs a little massage, giving the digestive system a massage as well. And lightening up on that stretch. Right hand can relax if you want. We're going to take the left knee towards the underarm on the left side. We'll try our best to avoid the stomach and the rib cage. Left foot comes to the inside of your right leg, pressing down to the outer edge of your left foot, the heel of your right, just to lift the hips up, balance off here. Maybe draw the hands up and overhead. Reclining tree. In Sanskrit, we call this one Supta Vrikshasana. And if that feels comfortable, maybe close the eyes or soften the gaze, just to turn the gaze inward a little bit. Connecting with yourself, with your body, with your breath. The left knee will float to the right, bringing yourself to a twist. And then maybe seeing if you can get that right shoulder to scooch to the right a little bit so that that left shoulder can find some space to soften down. And depending on the stretch that you're looking for in the neck, if you would like a deeper stretch, gaze off your left shoulder, then close your eyes. And then if you're looking for a gentler stretch for your neck, you'll just take your gaze towards the right. Back through the center. Let's take our feet to the edges of the mat. Knees will be bent, and we'll do a gentle rock of the knees to the right and then to the left. Knees to center. We'll do a rock and roll through the spine to come to seated. So core engages as you come on up. Working with a boat pose to engage the core. So for this one, try to sit up as straight as you can. Feel free to grab onto the backs of the legs as we begin. And we're really going to zip the core up. So we want to feel a little sensation of tucking the tailbone and feeling the navel move back and up to the spine slightly. You can stay here if you'd like to give yourself some challenge. Maybe you're going to work on lifting those legs. More challenge, maybe straighten out your arms. More challenge, maybe straighten your legs. And the most advanced variation is to take your index and your middle finger and your thumb, wrap them around the big toes, and straighten out the legs. So try for a little more balance here, a little bit more core strength. And really trying to shine and open up the heart. So we don't want to collapse here in the front of the body. See if you can create a little feeling like we feel when we're in that up dog. So we shine our heart forward, we broaden the collarbones. Crossing your legs to come on out. We're going to meet in table. So if it works for your knees, you can roll over your feet and then come into a tabletop position. As you take table, feel free to grab a blanket if you would like to do a little padding for your knees. And if you don't have a blanket, you could roll your mat up on the sides or front to back to give your body a little bit more support. Let's extend our right leg behind us. We'll have our toes on the ground to start, and we'll just take an opportunity here to press out through the heel and the back of the knee. Heel will lift in line with our hip. Roll your right hip down. Imagine that you could balance a book on your low back. Point your right toes. We're going to do some toe taps down. So let's tap down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to try for some C curve in the spine tap. So as we lift that right leg up, let's tap off to the left. We're going to go for 1, We'll go for 2. Float it over for 3. Maybe let your gaze float over your shoulder to give a little bit more stretch in the spine for 4. And we'll take one last one here on this side. Pointing your toes. Let's begin to circle. Maybe imagine that you could create about the size of a tennis ball. And reverse. We'll flow in the other direction. Good. Let's take our right knee to meet our left knee, floating through a little rib glide. So let's lower the stomach, lifting through the heart. Core engages for a neutral spine. Take your ribs to the right. Then we're going to float our ribs up to the sky. Glide your ribs to the left. And then drop them down. We'll go the other way this time. So as the ribs are lowering here, we'll find a little back bend. We'll come to a neutral spine. Glide your ribs to the left. Float them to the sky. And then glide your ribs to the right. And then back into a neutral spine. Left leg behind you, toes on the ground. Cross through the heel and the back of the knee for your calf and hamstring stretch. Let's lift our heel in line with our hip. We're going to point the toes. Tap down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go off to the right for 5 times total. And maybe get moving slowly on these. So it would be really easy just to kind of rush through, to use the momentum, to sling us into these, but try to move through these very mindfully and with control. Really activate your muscles so that you can get the most out of these simple but challenging stretches. Back to center, we're going to circle out. So imagining creating that tennis ball shape behind us. Reverse. And table. Child's pose as you exhale. We'll take a little release on our wrists. So let's flip our palms up. Backs of hands are going to press into the mat, hips to the heels, and heart will soften down. And then maybe just doing a little scan of your body. Where are you holding on to tension? And then letting that tension go as you exhale. Let's take an inhale, exhale, down dog. As you take down dog, feel free to create some movement here. So maybe bend one knee and bend the other knee. Maybe relax your head yes. Relax your head no. If your hamstrings are feeling really tight, you might want to bend deeply into the knees. That's a really nice way to modify this stretch. Toes to the hands. Let's make our way to a fold. Shake out the legs here. Bend one knee. Bend the other. Shake the head yes. And then shake the head no. Let's bring ourselves back to stillness. Hands to our shins. We'll take a half lift, also called Ardha Uttanasana. We'll fold down and a nice full breath in. Let's bring it up to standing pose, mountain. And draw your hands down to your heart as you exhale. Let's take our hands to the sky, mountain Tadasana. Hips will drop back and down for a chair pose. As you're in chair, gaze down. Make sure that you can see the tips of your toes. We don't want our knees to come too far forward here. Working with eagle, right leg comes up and over. Toes can be on the ground. Leg can be lifted for a half wrap. And you can try for a full wrap. You can try to get that leg all the way around. Wrapping up the arms. Let's take our right arm under, left arm over. Reach for opposite shoulders. Press the backs of your hands together. Arms can wrap and hands can wrap. Now, anytime we balance, we always want to find a spot to focus on. One spot to focus concentration and awareness. Feel free to stay here. If you'd like to invite some more challenge, elbows can float down to the knees and you can take eagle into the nest. Let's make sure that you're breathing here. So we'll take a nice deep full inhale and a nice deep full exhale. Core engages as you come on up. Let's take it to crescent. We'll take our right foot back. Right heel will be lifted and we will take our hands up to the sky. Now, as we take crescent, this one is also called our high lunge pose. Really try to activate your back leg. So we're going to press firmly through the heel and also through the back of the knee. So we want to feel that leg active, engaged, and energized. Working with a pose called a flying crescent warrior. From our hips down, we're going to try to keep nice and still. And then we'll just create a little movement here in the torso. So we're just going to take our torso forward at a 45-degree angle. Either arms reach in front. You can also take arms alongside the body. And we'll try to create a line. If we saw ourselves from the side, find a line from your right heel to the crown of your head. Let's bring our hands down to the mat. We'll take our right leg to the sky for a standing splits position. And then as you take standing splits, try to look to the wall that's behind you. Maybe as you bring the weight into the toes of your left foot, you can even look to the ceiling that is up behind your body. Knee into your nose. Let's do a little round crunch. We're going to send the leg up, load it back, exhale round. Let's go 3 more times here with the breath. Let's release to a warrior one position. A bit different from our crescent because we're going to have our right heel grounded down. Press firmly into the outer edge of your right foot. Then breathe into your calf and hamstring stretch. Let's try for that eagle wrap in our arms. We'll take our right arm under, left arm over. Reach for opposite shoulders. Press the backs of your hands together. Arms wrap and hands wrap. Feel free to keep the hands where they're at. Maybe sweep your fingertips to the sky. Relaxing as best as you can here. Shoulders draw down the back. Hands to the sky, full breath in. Let's take the hands down for a runner's lunge. Right foot hops to the upper left edge of your mat, landing in a fold with your legs crossed. Engage your core. Let's come on up to stand, full breath in. Fingers interlock, palms press off. Let's draw the hands to the right. See if you can scoop the right shoulder under, left shoulder draws back. See if you can find some space between the collarbones. Back to center, let's lengthen. We'll reach up, releasing your hands to the left. Get grounded evenly through both of your feet. Back to center. Let's take a swan dive down to the mat. Unwrapping the legs, let's take it back to our traditional forward fold, so feet will be in line with your hips. Breathe here, take a halfway lift. Fold yourself down. Inhale, let's take it up to mountain. Exhale, hands to your heart. Mountain pose, we'll pause. Hips drop back and down, chair pose. Maybe gaze down, making sure that the knees aren't coming too far forward on this one. Left leg up and over. Either toes on the ground, leg lifts for half wrap. Maybe try for that full wrap. Left arm under, right arm over. Maybe reach for opposite shoulders. Press the backs of your hands together. Arms wrap and hands wrap. Imagining if you could see yourself in a mirror, try to line up your toes, your knees, your elbows, and your fingertips. Option to try for eagle in the nest, elbows to the knees. Maybe observe the body. Where are you clenching? Where are you holding tension? Bring yourself back on up for eagle, also called Garudasana. We'll release to our crescent warrior high lunge pose. Let the core engage here. Feel your tailbone tuck. Feel your navel move back and up towards the spine slightly. Keeping the low body still, let's take ourselves forward, working with our flying crescent warrior. Maybe arms alongside the body. And then also really engaging the core on this one as well. So we want to tuck the tailbone, scoop the navel back and up to the spine. Find that length through your spine. That will help to protect your low back in this one. When that feels ready, let's bring it down. We're going to land in our standing splits, left leg up. As best as you can, let's see if we can relax through our head and our neck. We have so many muscles. They work so hard to hold the head up. So in a pose like this, we can just let them relax and release. We're going to go for 5 crunches here. Knee to nose, rounding the front body. Really try to create that compression in the front body. And then although there is that compression, let's try to breathe as deeply and fully as we can. Standing splits to warrior 1 pose. Checking in with your breath. We're going to inhale and exhale through your nose. Trying our eagle arm wrap. This time left arm under, right arm over. So backs of hands are pressing together. You could also reach for opposite shoulders. Maybe hands wrap, arms wrap. And then keeping that deep bend in the front knee, maybe hands sweep up. Letting that one go. Let's set it back to our traditional warrior 1 pose. Hands to the earth, runner's lunge. Legs are crossed in our forward fold. So we'll hop our left foot to the upper right edge of the mat. Line your toes up, line your heels up, folding over the fronts of the legs as you exhale. Core engages. Let's use our balance here. We're going to take it up to standing. Fingers interlock, palms touch. Releasing the hands to the left. A nice opportunity for that IT band stretch on the right side. Back through the center, lengthen, release to the right. See if you can draw that left hip to the left a little bit more. We'll take ourselves back to center. Let's swan dive down to the mats. As we land in this fold with the legs crossed, let's unwrap the legs for our traditional forward fold. We'll bring ourselves into a halfway lift. Plant your hands for plank, high push-up pose. As you take plank, Knees can be up or down, whichever you prefer. You can always modify plank. Reverse push-up down to the mat, chaturanga. We'll take an up dog. Let's see if we can really broaden through the heart space, shoulders relax from the ears for this nice up dog back bend. Down dog on exhale. And then hips are reaching and stretching to the sky. Spine lengthens with the breath. So if you'd like to come out of this pose for a moment, you can drop down onto your knees. And I'd love to work with a pose called flip dog. We haven't done this one, I think, in a few weeks now. So I just thought I would just demo it, go over it really quickly. And then I'll walk you through it slowly, step by step. And for this one, it is such a wonderful stretch. There's a lot of benefits. It's a great back bend through the 3 parts of your back, an opportunity to open up your quads and your hip flexor and your psoas. But you do really want to be mindful of your shoulders. If you have some stuff going on with your shoulders, you can skip this. Also, it's a little bit more weight in the hands. If you have stuff going on in the wrists, you can always skip this one too. So typically for our flip dog, we bring ourselves to a down dog. We take a leg up, we're gonna bend, we're gonna stack, we're gonna open. And then that foot's just gonna flip to the other side of the mat. We're gonna try to be really light on our feet so that we're being mindful of our knees. So we just wanna spin on our feet so both of our feet are planted, both of our knees are bent. When you feel stable here, you will press your feet down to really lift your hips up. You're gonna take that hand up and overhead to find your back bend. Then we're gonna come on out the same way we came in. So we're just gonna shift a little bit on the hands and the feet, and we can reset back into our 3-limbed dog. So let's give that one a try. If you wanna skip it, you can hang out in down dog. If you want more of a resting pose, maybe hang out into child's position. So let's give our down dog a try, and we'll work with our flip dog. Right leg will lift first. So let's bend, we'll stack, we'll open. We can hang out here, or our right foot will flip to the left. Spin on the feet. So both of the feet are planted, both of your knees are bent, hips are lifting up to the sky. Maybe see if you can relax your head and your neck a little bit more. We're going to switch up on the feet here, resetting to a 3-limbed dog, right leg up to the sky. And then let's take a nice big step through. We're gonna come into our crescent warrior. Hands will reach up. And we're gonna work with pyramid from here. So for pyramid, let's hop our left foot forward a little bit. Now, we don't wanna hop all the way to the top of the mat, but we want a little bit of that step forward so we don't have too much space between our feet. Have your toes in line with your hips. So we'll have this nice alignment of feet in line with hips. Hips and shoulders will square forward. If you feel like the ground is gonna be far away, those blocks framing the front foot can be really helpful. Hands are gonna reach up on the inhale. Hold your length as you pull down on your exhale. And then as you're folding here, let's see if we can intensify the stretch. Maybe bring more weight into your right foot. That can help to lift the right hip up. Maybe encourage your left hip crease forward, and then feel that right hip crease pull back a little bit. Twist. Let's bring that right hand to the sky as you exhale. And then as you're twisting, if this one's a little much on the shoulders, maybe hand to your hip. You can also take your arm around your low back, reach for the other hip crease. Now, if you'd like to challenge yourself, this one can be a little tricky, but it can be fun to play with. There's an option for a pose called a balancing half moon pose, but it's revolved. So you're going to hold your twist. I find that the further out in front I bring that left hand, the easier it is. So you'll bring your weight into your left hand and into your right foot, and you will lift your left leg up. So we have our left leg lifted, we have that right hand lifted, And we are trying to spin our chest to the right as best as we can. If you wanted to build on that even more, there's a pose called a twisted sugarcane pose. So that's where we're going to take our right hand for our left foot, and then we'll create the sensation of kicking our foot into our hand. Wherever you are, let's come to a runner's lunge pose. So left foot will float back, and then we'll come to plank. Right foot meets your left foot, high push-up pose, knees up or down, chaturanga. We'll come into an up dog here. Let's see if you can reach and stretch through the crown of your head. We'll press it back, down dog as you exhale. Working with flip dog, left leg comes up, bend, stack, and open. Left foot flips to the right. We'll spin on our feet. Both of our feet are planted, knees are bent, pressing into your feet. Let's lift our hips up. So we're going to try for our back bend through the 3 parts of our back. Coming out, free limb dog, left hand down, left leg up, left foot forward, crescent warrior. Let's come on up. And then we will transition to pyramid. So right foot hops forward, having that space between front foot and back foot. You can take quite a distance here if you want, but alignment will be to have your right heel on the ground and then both legs as straight as you can have them. Hands up. Let's take a dive down on exhale. And see if you can create the awareness of having your hips even. So in this one, it's very easy and common for your hips to be out of alignment. So maybe bringing that weight into your left foot, maybe gently drawing little micro movements and adjustments, drawing your left hip crease back, right hip draws forward a tiny bit. Let's take our left hand up. We will twist. And then as we find our pyramid twist, make sure that you're pressing in through your right heel. So we want to be very anchored in that back foot. Option to stay here, maybe play with the idea of lifting that right leg up. Coming into our revolved balancing half moon pose. Feel free to stay here. Option, left hand for right foot, coming into sugarcane twist. And making sure that you're breathing. We'll take nice inhales and exhales here. Let's slowly unwrap the pose. I'm sure we're all in different options and variations. So let's come to a runner's lunge. We will all meet in a plank position. As you find plank, feel the fingers fanning nice and wide. Lower it down, chaturanga. We'll bring it to an up dog here. See if you can breathe into the back bend for the 3 parts of your back. Down dog, curl over the toes, hips to the sky. Knees will begin to lower. Sweep your feet to the right or to the left. We're going to come down into seated. Legs will extend in front. Flex your feet. Press through your heels. Try to lengthen your spine as best as you can. Let's bring ourselves forward. We'll come into a pose called Paschimottanasana, the seated forward fold. And then maybe as you exhale here, you can just feel the heart melting down to the legs. You can feel your stomach melting down to the legs. Bringing yourself on up. Making your way onto your back, floating your knees into your chest, circling a bit on your low back. Maybe find large circles here, maybe find smaller circles here. Reverse. We'll flow in the other direction. Maybe feel a gentle massage along the low back from the mat. We're going to release. And then coming into Shavasana, we'll take a little time for relaxation. So just how we started our time together, either legs relax, arms relax. You can also bend the knees, maybe plant the feet. Close the eyes. Working with a visualization, maybe imagining that you could see the breath. So maybe assigning it a color, maybe white. And visualizing this white breath flowing in through your nose, moving to the throat, the chest, ribs and stomach. And as you exhale, watching it release from the stomach, ribs, chest, throat, nose. Breathing in, gently tracing the breath on the inhale. Gently tracing the breath on the exhale. Deep full breath in. Deep full breath out. Take a moment to bring awareness into your body. Maybe by wiggling your fingers or toes or circling. And gently draw yourself onto your side, maybe the right or the left, your favorite side. This brings us to fetal position. Maybe create a pillow with the arms, support the head, and just feel your body take the shape of the pose here. Coming into a comfortable seated position. Cross the legs if that works for you. Maybe kick the legs out in front if that doesn't really work for your knees. Hands can move into the heart. Close your eyes or soften the gaze. Thank yourself for practicing yoga today, for doing something so good for your mind, for your body. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for being here today. I hope that you enjoyed this practice. I hope that you have a fabulous day today. I will be back tomorrow. So we will have our mindful stretch class. That's 3 o'clock East Coast time. And that's a 15-minute stretching practice. on the yoga mat. So if you can join us, it would be really great to have you. It's always such a nice way to break up the afternoon, to relax a little bit, but also to re energize the mind and the body. I will see you soon.